Part 2.
All right, peace, everybody. So this part two, breaking down the whole science behind the corporation. So the Organic Act of 1871 is what made the District of Columbia a democracy versus a republic. This was the creation of United States versus United States of America. This is why the Continental Congress has been suspended since the 1880s. The real reason behind the Civil War. Um, so it's much deeper than what they made it out to be. So again, it's supposed to be a republic, to the republic for which it stands. But it became a democracy. When you say the word demonocracy, Ray, Republican, is the ancient Egyptian word for the sun. And demon, deity of the moon, is why the demonocracy or the Democrats or the Democrats are the blue states. And the Ray Republicans are the red states. So it's actually breaking down the science of the sun and the moon, or the true esoteric meaning behind the law. Moses received the law in the Bible at Mount Horeb and Mount Sinai. Mount Horeb is actually Horus, Heru, Re, Ra, the sun, and Sinai is Sin, which is the Akkadian moon god, right? So this all becomes important to understanding why they use the colors that they use and everything else. But truth be told, we got to understand and realize that even though this is what's presented in the surface, they still controlled by the same bankers that control everything. But for the sake of understanding the control, mental, the mind is mind control. But originally, understanding the historical narrative becomes very important. So if you remember what the lady said on the video, the narrator was saying that we never had our independence from England or Great Britain. So this is why it becomes imperative for people to realize and understand what she was saying about George Washington and the Freemasonry. Because when you put two and two together and understand the science, we never had our independence from Great Britain. The money is controlled in Great Britain. So when you go back and you look, the Emancipation Proclamation was roughly signed about 33 years, Freemasonry, after the Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain. When a person is born or a being is born in this corporation, they are birthed and given a birth certificate, which is a birthing record. When a ship goes up to a dock, it's given a birth manifest. This is why you have a doctor give birth, because you are a ship or a vessel. This is maritime law or maritime law. So the ship is the warship or worship, which is where the Vatican comes in, the control of the spiritual part. And the bond is given when they used to put our feet on the birth certificate, because our soul was sold. The sole of the foot, the S-O-U-L, the S-O-L-E. So our soul is actually, quote unquote, lost at sea based on the fact that we're dealing with banking codes and maritime law in this society. And the bond is why JB, James Bond, the JB, Jack Bauer, Jason Bourne. The two pillars of Freemasonry are Jachin and Boaz. The bond is owned by the banks, and we are traded as stocks and bonds because we are all chattel property that's considered lost at sea until we actually reclaim our birthrights. That's as far as I'm going to go on this, but do know that me and my people building the bridge. Peace and love, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. One love.